Welcome, everyone. We're excited to welcome Joshua from AquaPro. Thank you for hanging with us. Looking forward to our third presentation here. Joshua, how are you feeling?
I'm very excited to be here today, and I can't wait to share the idea we developed with the whole world and then to our panel of judges.
So good. Wonderful to have you. The stage is yours. Good luck. Take it away.
Thank you. In 1800, the world population was about 1 billion people, with agriculture utilizing 1 billion hectares of land. This number has grown to become 7.9 billion people in 2022, with agriculture utilizing 5 billion hectares of land. In 2050, the world population is expected to reach 9.8 billion people. Will we have the land to feed that number, and at the expense of how much pollution to the environment? The growing human population and changes in dietary patterns has accelerated the demand for food. This demand has mainly been met due to the extensive use of inputs such as pesticides and chemical fertilizers, expansion of agricultural land, and an easy disposal of agricultural waste into water bodies. Fed aquaculture diminishes water quality with fish excreta and uneaten fish feed. Every day, about 2 million tons of sewage, industrial and agricultural waste is released into water bodies all around the world. This is equivalent to the weight of about 6.8 billion people, almost the entire population on Earth. You may think this number is mainly contributed by industrial or sewage waste, but in most countries in the world today, agriculture is the leading polluter of water bodies. The resultant water pollution poses demonstrated risks to aquatic ecosystems, human health, and productive activities. The World Health Organization estimates that 1 to 5 million cases of pesticides poisoning occur every year, resulting in 20,000 fatalities among agricultural workers, most of them in developing countries. Another estimate is that pesticides causes 14% of all known occupational injuries in agriculture and 10% of all fatal injuries. Pollution in general kills about 8.3 million people every year. That is like wiping almost the entire population in the Michigan state. From drinking unsafe water alone, about 1.2 million people die each year. The problem is glaring, the effects are evident, and the resulting figures are very devastating. This makes us restless as a team that is worried about the kind of world we would inhabit in the future and the one we will leave behind for generations after us. This raises questions. Must we halt food production to save our water bodies and starve the growing population to death? To this, Team AquaPro says no. Does that mean more people, more food, and worse water? Again, we answered definitely not. What then could be done? This was the start giving us through the Wege Challenge. About 8 months ago, our transdisciplinary team was brought together with a common goal of finding a solution to this wicked problem. With passion, innovation, and resilience, we worked together as a team. What could be done? We continued to ask ourselves. Working around the solution, our team met with farmers, fishermen, aquaculturists, local Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, our mentor, and a host of relevant parties to have a diversified view of the problem and an insight into a probable solution. In finding the solution, our team is thinking global while acting local. As such, we focus on Ghana to pilots.
Me wa kurom ha de ma 30 years. Enso we na obia sanum wa fi nnipa ba. We no obakwa kwasanum. Obatemi kwa hin no kwasanum.
As seen from the sad video, in Ghana, both crop farming and aquaculture pollution exist at different parts of the country. Most farms are strategically situated near water bodies to allow easy access to water for irrigation. While this serves to reduce cost of irrigation, these near water sources are easily polluted by chemical accumulation in the water. The immediate effect on these farmers themselves includes skin irritations, headaches, general body weakness, difficulty in breathing, and dizziness. The intensity of the problem led to the government of Ghana banning the usage of some of these chemicals like DDT in farming. Despite the ban, these are still being used by a lot of farmers, posing health risks to the general Ghanaian populace. Academic studies show the presence of pesticides residue in fish, water, fruits and vegetables, and human fluids like blood and breast milk in Ghana. We agree with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation that the current food system doesn't work for everyone, and it certainly doesn't work for the environment. Not only do we produce food in a way that won't work in the long term, but we also waste almost a third of it, while nearly 10% of the world population go hungry. The environment needs saving. Our food production needs a revolution, and our children, they need hope. In Ghana, we represent that hope. Today, our eyes are filled with hope and our faces with smiles because we found a solution for the future and to reaffirm that we can always rely on the ingenuity of the human race to find solutions to the wicked problem faced in our contemporary world. We are Team AquaPro, and we found a solution. Team AquaPro proposes a sustainable farming system that operates on the principle of circular economy to reduce the contributions of agriculture to water pollution. This is done by eliminating the need for inorganic fertilizers, reducing water usage by up to 90%, maximizing crop yield, limiting land usage by crops, eliminating waste, and maximizing usage of resources. Our team uses an innovative aquaponics system to grow tilapia, lettuce, and duckweed. In this system, high nutrient water is circulated from the fish to the crops. The crops then absorb the nutrients in the circulated water to grow without excessive fertilizer application. Our design will follow the order of a fish culture tank, solid filtration, biological filtration, hydroponic component, a sump, and a solar-powered pump. Our team creates a loop to allow the flow of nutrients from fish to plants and humans. This is achieved by pumping the nutrient-rich water from fish tank throughout the system to grow vegetables and duckweed. Useful microbes break down the nutrients in the water into forms that could be absorbed by the plants. The grown duckweed in the system is used to supplement the fish feed, significantly reducing the need for an external fish feed. The grown fish and vegetables, on the other hand, will be sold for human consumption. Waste from the fish and vegetable meals would be collected by compost and recycling companies, and together with the sludge harvested from our system that will be distributed to them, converted into compost for true aerobic and anaerobic processes. We will obtain compost from our partner company and convert it into compost tea, which will serve as a soluble nutrient that will be added to the pipe channels to supplement the plant growth. Socioeconomically, we create a value chain to offer employment for Ghanaians, promote health and reduce malnutrition, ensure food security for a growing population, and serve as an educational tool for knowledge transfer in agricultural sciences. Environmentally, we reduce the chemical use, remove factors of water pollution, preserve aquatic life, and help build sustainable cities. These draw us closer to the SDGs like clean water and sanitation, zero hunger, good health and well-being, and among others. Talk is cheap, actions are rather difficult. To test our idea, we have gone ahead to build a prototype. We've developed a media-based aquaponic system to rear 50 fish and grow 50 lettuce heads with duckweed spread on the pond surface. We use a solar-powered pump, which will help us operate in even the remotest of places where conventional electricity is not available and capitalize on the abundant sunlight in Ghana. In the long term, we would incorporate artificial intelligence to check water quality and monitor diseases among the fish. With a startup capital of $42,350, we will spend on land, tank for fish pond, solar-powered pumps, research and development, and among others, as illustrated on the slide. The startup capital will be sourced from the Wege Prize, the team, friends and family, and governmental grants. The capital assistance could be in the form of kind or cash. An example is the fisheries and aquaculture under the government assisting us with tilapia fingerlings for our piloting. On a 2-acre land, we will use a 45,000-liter tank capacity to breed 11,250 nut tilapia fish by the correct stocking. This number will be able to support proportional 11,250 heads of lettuce. The nut tilapia will reach a selling weight of 1 to 2 pounds in 7 months under optimal conditions. With a selling price of $2.5 for a pound and selling 10,000 pieces, with the remainder serving as breeders and catering for mortality rates, the tilapia will draw in a revenue of about $25,000 in the first year. Green leaf lettuce takes a month to reach maturity with an average selling price of $0.5 per head. Selling 10,000 lettuce heads out of the 11,250 in the worst case scenario, the lettuce will draw in revenue of $7,000 a month, translating into $84,000 in the first year. This means that with all things being equal, we will draw in a total revenue of $109,000 just in the first year. In the long term, we will operate our own restaurant with a circular model to serve fish and vegetable meals. But as we are piloting, these will be sold to bulk harvesters like restaurants, hotels, and schools that consume this produce in bulk capacity. Problems may be inevitable, but they are never eternal in the eyes of the change maker. For us at Team AquaPro, we realize we have a responsibility to ensure that there is enough food for a growing population and at the same time maintaining the quality of our water bodies while operating the principles of circular economy. Next slide. With this team of diversified, skilled, and passionate individuals, we are poised now more than ever to take actions, and we believe the time to act is now. Thank you very much for your attention.
Great job, Joshua. Excellent work, AquaPro team. Joshua, we're going to give our judges a few minutes so that they can prepare their questions for you. Let's chat.
Okay.
Great presentation. We read in your bio and have heard about you that this isn't the only entrepreneurship and social impact project that you are passionate about. Can you share with us a little bit about some of the other projects that you're working on?
Okay, so in my first day on the university campus, I joined a social group called Inactus Care University. Now, this group has contributed a lot in building my mental framework for social entrepreneurship, because as a group of students, we normally engage our communities to make sure we are always finding solutions to the problems that are being faced in our communities. And I'm not the only person that shared this trait. I believe this one is shared among all my team members. We have this common trait.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. I also read in your bio that I thought was really interesting that you were inspired to begin this journey in social impact through a book called What's Mine is Yours. Can you tell us about that?
But I couldn't get the question.
A book that you read that inspired your journey in social impact. No? Yeah?
So I read a book on the sharing economy. What is mine is yours. That is supposed to help us transition into the circular economy. So when I read that book, I actually went ahead to build a platform, a social platform that is supposed to enable people to share items on my campus, because there are items with very low utility. You use them for once and they will be lying there in your room.
Right.
So if you could share these items with your next neighbor or your roommates, it means you'll be able to promote the circular economy and prevent virgin resources being tapped into to produce some of these new products.
I love that. I love that that book inspired this journey for you. Tell us a little bit more about your team. So you were came together all over the world, had to navigate different time zones to meet together, met with farmers. Tell us more about your team and how you worked together.
So I think the time zone was one of the greatest challenges that we met. But if there's anything to know about our team, it's about our resilience to come on top of every challenge that comes our way. So we of course, we are living in a very globalized world. So we did not let distance serve as a boundary and to prevent us from realizing our goal. So we have team members in the US, in China, two of us in Ghana and one in Mozambique. So the project is being piloted in Ghana. So most of the grounds work here is being done by myself and Nanayao, but the contribution in terms of research and a lot of engagements by all of our team members. So Bridget, Vasco, and Jennifer have been doing great. You're watching this. Thank you very much for helping our team this far.
That's such a beautiful story of collaboration. Looks like our judges are ready for you, Joshua. So on to the Q&A. Good luck to you.
Getting outside.
We're on, guys.
Sorry.
Well, take it away, Alyssa. I think you were in the middle of a thought when you got on here.
You certainly stimulated a discussion here amongst the judges.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about the we had a bit of a discussion about the technology that you're using. So I'd love to hear more about how you think the technology and the kind of low cost nature of the resources that you're using, if they are going to result in a system that's maintainable, that's really effective, if you've done some more kind of testing on that front, just to make sure that the system itself is going to be successful from a kind of technological perspective. If you could talk to the robustness of it a little bit, that would help.
All right, so according to research, we realized that plants actually don't need soil to grow. What they need to grow is the nutrients in the soil and the anchorage in the water to grow. So if you can provide a plant with some of these nutrients, even without soil, it means it can grow. So first of all, as I was saying, the plants don't actually need soil to grow. What they need is the nutrients and the acreage that the soil provides. So we have a lot of it in the fish pond through their uneaten fish feed and their feces. Now, when they release these feces, they're in the form of ammonia. So our system will have a biofiltration component, which will have useful microbes to break down the ammonia into nitrites and further into nitrates. This is a form that is absorbable by the plants. Again, another source that will provide nutrients to the plants is the compost tea that will be adding, the soluble nutrients that will be adding to our system to supplement the plant growth. So after the water is circulated to the plants or the crops, and they've absorbed the nutrients, the water further goes into filtration by sedimentation, and then when need be, there will be mechanical filtration components to further filter the water, and then it's circulated back into the fish pond. So that's how the technology works.
Thanks very much, Joshua. One of the principles of the circular economy is to regenerate the biosphere. Your solution, which I like a lot, is certainly beneficial in comparison to many ways in which we farm fish or grow lettuce, for example. But in what way does your system regenerate the biosphere or give something back?
Okay, so I think in our presentation, we stated that the fish feed or the fish meals after they've been consumed by our consumers will be collected through effective partnership with compost and recycling companies. So as part of their operation, they will collect waste from the fish feed and then the uneaten fish, the fish and vegetable meals, which will be converted into compost. Now we will go in for this compost and then convert into compost tea, a soluble nutrient, and add it to our pipe channels. That will be a supplement nutrient for the plants. So in that way, we are making sure we are regenerating and creating a loop for our system.
And that's just for your system, or will there be more for other people?
So for now, we've looked at how we are going to regenerate for our system, and then our system serves the people. So once it's working for our system, it means it's working for the environment and the people that are consumers.
Thank you.
Hey, Joshua, how would you evaluate the benefits of your system when you look at the food production capacity and the water quality attributes? How would you evaluate which is the bigger benefit to the circular economy?
So I think they are all very equally beneficial to the circular economy. One, we have a growing population, and means we have to accelerate the growth of food to make sure they are being fed. Now, in the status quo, the rate of acceleration results in the pollution of our water bodies. So there's more people and worse water. So in the case of tackling the two, making sure there's enough food, our system, due to the fact that nutrients are constantly being circulated through our system, the plants have constant supply of nutrients. And means you don't depend on the weather patterns or climate changes to grow. So at any point in time, we are harvesting from our system, making sure there's food production. Again, there's vertical farming being employed because of the pipe channels that we are using, which makes sure that for a square meter, there's a lot of crops that could be grown about 6 times more than what is being done with traditional farming. Now, measuring the side on the water pollution aspect, you realize through our presentation, we mentioned the 2 main factors that causes water pollution in the status quo. One is caused by the use of chemicals, that is pesticides, the agrochemicals that's being used. Another one is through the uneaten fish feed and then the excreta, which causes eutrophication. So in our system, we are not using chemical fertilizers, so we are eliminating that factor. On the side of the uneaten fish feed, we are recirculating it, and then they are being absorbed by the plants. So they don't end up in our environment to further pollute our environment. So that's how we tackle the 2 goals of food and then water, cleaning our waters.
Thank you.
Joshua, I have a question on the percentage of food that the duckweed provides to the fish. I think you said it's a supplement to other fish food. So could you explain where you're getting the other fish food and then how much the duckweed contributes to their nutrition?
Okay, so with the traditional farming, we have traditional fish meals for fish, but I want to make sure we reduce the amount of fish feed, external fish feed that is being brought into our system. So the duckweed will cater for about 30% of the food supply to the fish, and about 70% for the start, for the piloting stage, will be from the commercial fish feed. So that's the ratio, because we are going to grow the duckweed on the pond surface, and then as time goes on, or in the long term, because tilapia is actually omnivorous, so it's having a wide range of diets, so they can feed on the duckweed and also on the traditional fish meal that is on the market.
So long term, what's the long-term percentage balance between duckweed?
So for the start, we are looking at 30-70. That is for now. In the long term, we want to increase the duckweed feeding to about 50-50 ratio. And if it proves to work, it means there's limitless potential. We can go further to make sure the duckweed becomes the main feed for the fish.
So you'd like to get over 50% duckweed?
So yeah, we'll push it to 50%.
Okay, thank you.
And a question following on from that. So the tilapia is quite happy to just survive healthily on duckweed, or I mean, you said it's omnivorous, so it requires a balanced diet from different sources. Would the health of the tilapia be compromised as a result of just eating duckweed?
So according to research, tilapia could exclusively survive on just duckweed alone, but that's not what we are doing. We want to make sure we reach the selling weight in time. So we are not feeding it exclusively with duckweed. That's why for the start, we are adding the commercial fish feed, 70% of it from commercial feed. Now, even for the future, the futuristic goal is even to reach a 50-50 potential. So even though it can survive exclusively on the fish, on the duckweed, we are creating that balance to make sure it receives the nutrients that it needs.
All right, thank you so much, Joshua and Team AquaPro.